Hey, everybody. Welcome to this session, to this networking session. It's really great to see you all here. Thank you so much for joining us. This is one of the most popular sessions that we host. We try to do it about once a quarter, and it's a really great opportunity for you to sort of meet people, meet your peers, and things like that. And so we're going to give you specific instructions on how things are going to go here. But for those of you that don't know, my name is Mike Supervici. I am the head of acceleration here at VC Lab. I'm joined by Adeo, who's the CEO of Dassault Group, who runs VC Lab as well. And what we're going to do here today is, spend a little bit of time kind of giving you some kind of thoughts, some updates and things like that, as well as maybe answer some general questions if there are any. And then what we're going to do is you're going to see a whole bunch of tables where you get to sort of meet your peers. Dale and I are going to be available to answer your questions and things like that. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, Adeo, and then we can sort of get started with the agenda for today.
Yeah, great. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is certainly an exciting time in the world today. As Mike said, we'll be available at tables when the talking part is over. So you can sit at a table with your peers and chat with me and Mike about any questions that you have about the program or anything. Before we jump into general stuff, I just want to talk a little bit about what we're trying to do. And I want to talk a little bit about the world today. And then Mike and I will go over some just good pieces of information to have and jump into the table. So we're not doing this for money. We're not doing this to be famous. We're not doing this for a lot of the reasons that you see companies do things. We're genuinely trying to make the world a better place. And when we look at the ways that you can affect the world at scale today, there really aren't that many. The UN is kind of like a dead end. A lot of governments are regulating in the wrong direction. The climate change COP28 is run by an oil leader in an oil country. And it just was revealed that the main reason they're hosting it is to do oil deals. It's kind of an oxymoron since that's a climate conference. So so many things in the world are off path, but it's pretty clear to us that if we want to start fixing the problems of the world, not talking about it in some faux climate conference run by oil barons, is to actually have thousands of empowered managers around the world allocating capital with an ethical and moral framework, looking to make the world a better place. We know that centralization really doesn't work, right? So the best thing that we can do is empower thousands of smart people to allocate capital to many thousands of hardworking entrepreneurs that really are trying to make the world a better place. And so that's what we're doing, right? And we want to see a point where there's a double-digit percentage, and right now it's a fractional percentage of global GDP flowing into venture capital and flowing into solutions that are going to make the world a better place. And that's why we ask everyone that we work with to agree to the Mensarius Oath, because at the end of the day, we want to work with ethical managers that share our values and beliefs that really do want to make the world a better place. And it's been going great. And so this leads to a second point. Everything you read in the media is wrong, okay? Especially about venture capital. A lot of the data sets that they're using, like PitchBook literally invents data. They do a survey, people lie in the surveys, and then they take that survey data and they extrapolate it. And this is the knowledge base and information that's used by most reporters and the like to write articles. But the underlying data is a complete fiction. So it's kind of crazy that, you read these articles and you're like, venture's in trouble. And I'm like, we're looking at data. We don't see venture being in trouble at all. New and emerging managers are firing people left and right. Well, we have the largest number of new and emerging managers in the world, right, that we track on a quarterly and more frequent basis. We do polls and we outreach and events, and none of them have fired anyone. So, you read these things in the media and it's a fallacy. So, you're going on a journey, and we're going to help you launch an enduring venture capital firm and fund that will have fantastic returns and change the world. We're going to show you how to do it. We're going to help you every step of the way. It's completely free. We don't charge for anything. There's one thing we charge about. I'll mention it at the end because people are always like, how do you make money? So there's one thing that we charge for, but everything else is free, and it's not freemium because we're not upselling you. You have to apply to the one thing we charge for. But again, we're doing this to ensure that you can succeed in your journey to make the world a better place, in your journey to build an enduring fund, in your journey to build an enduring firm, and to help really make this world something that we can all be proud of, transforming venture capital into actually a force for good in the world. And all the stuff that you read that says things that don't seem to match with your own reality, just ignore, right? Because there's a lot of BS out there. I'm not even sure how far off and why we've gotten so far off the path, but it doesn't matter at this point. There's a lot of work that we need to do. We need to get it done. And if people are saying things that doesn't match with reality, that's their problem, not our problem, right? Our problem is to start funding the things that are going to make the world a better place. Okay. And just a minute on how we make money, because people are always like, well, how do you make money? So we give the training away for free. We give the software away for free. We kind of give everything away for free. And we've kind of changed how business works by making everything free, right? Because it's really hard to turn down the top rated program in the world. I think we're right now at, and the numbers are still coming in. We're at like an 80 something. It was a 90 MPS, and we had 7 or 8 come in. So we're 80 something MPS on this program for cohort 11, which is the last cohort that graduated. And it's the top program in the world by every metric. Okay. We've accelerated a huge portion, mid double digit portion of all new firms last year, just to give you a sense of scale. And we give it away for free because we know we don't want any barriers to entry to our mission of transforming venture capital into a force for good in the world. And so what we do charge for one thing, as I mentioned, and that's to help you set up and run your fund. That's the only thing we charge for. And you're going to have to pay that no matter what, because there are costs involved, expensive resources and the like. And on that front, we charge about half as much as everyone else. You do have to apply. And if we think you're a fit with us culturally, if we like your mission, we believe in you, we work with you. And we really work with you to go all the way. And I want to talk about what that means, because we look at VC Lab as the beginning of what we call your journey to firm success. So we're helping you do stuff. Sometimes it may seem like, why are you making me do this? I don't need it right now. We're looking at your journey through Fund 3. Once you can launch a successful Fund 3, you are a successful VC. Right now, you may choose to stop being a VC or continue running your firm afterwards, or whatever your decisions are at that point. You've crossed the threshold and you are now an enduring firm. And so we're always looking at how can we help you, even if you're on Fund 1 going through the accelerator. What are some roadblocks to Fund 2? What are some roadblocks to Fund 3? And we're thinking 3 steps ahead for you, with you, as part of your team to ensure your success. And at the end of the day, we'll take in a cohort of roughly 300 people, a little more, and we'll create about 50 to 75 of the best venture capital firms of that period of time, hands down. And how do we know this? Because our firms Many of them don't have the J curve where their returns go negative. Many of them are investing in companies that are getting marked up. The percentage of markups in the portfolio are incredible. Many of them are achieving success, doing first, second, third, and final closes. And so we're watching these managers all around the world and seeing their success. And you're about to join that journey with them and achieve some remarkable things. And Mike, myself, and the whole team are 100% here to help you. Mike, do you want to come back on and talk a little bit about some logistics and we'll get started?
Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe one last thing to just kind of caveat everything that Adeo says. Obviously, it's amazing and everything. That's what we're doing. We're here to help people launch enduring venture capital firms, not funds. VC firms. Okay, we're helping founders of VC firms. Okay, that's what this is all about, and that's what we're here to help. So, there are folks that want to do like kind of funds on the side, SPVs, all that kind of stuff, all good, maximum respect. Like we're not like trying to say that that's wrong or whatever, but what we're specializing in, what this experience specializes in, is helping founders of VC firms, because the founders of the next generation VC firms are going to sort of bring this sort of change that we need across the world, right? And the next Sequoia is going to probably be, headquartered in Kenya, right? Funding, well, with the thesis of funding women or whatever the case may be, right? And that's sort of like the vision for everything we're doing. And that's what this experience is all about. And the decisions that you make on like Fund 1 are going to affect whether you're going to get to Fund 2 and Fund 3. And by the way, if you can't get to Fund 2 or Fund 3, you're going to be out of business, right? As a founder of a VC firm, because you're not going to be able to sort of survive that. And you're not going to have the operations necessary for you to sort of scale up your firm, okay? So I just want to make sure that everybody's sort of aligned on kind of what we're trying to do, what this experience is all about, so that when you sort of kind of enter the accelerator on Thursday, you're sort of ready to go to sort of start founding your firm if you haven't yet, done that. Adele?
Yeah. So let's jump right into some logistics and get into the table. So
Let's do it.
One another. So I'll just start with one thing. We have a lot of people here, 170. So that's about half of the program that we have accepted and enrolled, or a little more than half. As I said, we'll get to about 300 and change. It's super important that if you're accepted and you have a partner, not a venture partner, not an associate, not a team member, another partner.
Yeah, like a co-founder, right? Like a co-founder. Think of it like that.
Right. That you invite them to apply. Okay. Because what's going to happen is we're going to close admissions in about a week. So we leave them open a little bit so co-founders can apply, so to speak, or other partners can apply. And we want to make sure we get everyone in, but then we just have to close it because it's very difficult for people to catch up to the program after the next 2 or 3 weeks. So we got 2 weeks closed, 100%. So please, if you haven't done so, invite your co-founder / partners to join in. Mike, I see your camera went off. You were having a little connectivity issues.
Yeah, I was just checking my audio and stuff.
Yeah, Mike has a fast internet, but it's wonky at times. I'll cover some of the stuff, and you can interrupt me then if you need anything. All right, so we have an orientation on Thursday, everybody. That's this Thursday. It's not the official first session, but I think everyone should attend it. The official first session will be next Thursday. And the idea of the orientation, though, is we merged in the past thesis and orientation. So we mainly did orientation and not enough thesis. And cohort 12, which was right before cohort 13, we feel their theses could have been a little better earlier in the program. So we want to have a whole dedicated session to thesis. And the good news is cohort 12 has raised the most money of every cohort we've ever run. And so again, all this stuff that you're hearing, it's hard to raise money in venture, or, venture struggling with capital, cohort 12, largest amount of capital raised by new managers that we've ever seen. The numbers are insane. And the numbers in general are insane. We're doing nearly $1 billion a year in commitments from limited partners to general partners through our platform. And general partners are getting commitments in many other ways as well. So again, orientation this Thursday, first official session next Thursday. If you haven't finished your application or you have a partner, get them in now. As Mike said, we're here to build enduring firms, and we're going to help you over the course of the next 4 months to close. So this is a closing program, okay? You will learn for sure, but you're not going to learn by reading a textbook. You're going to learn by doing. So you're going to learn by closing LPs, doing your proper fund presentation, setting up a data room, and all the things necessary to launch a firm. So by the end of the 4 months, everyone will have a double-digit percentage of their fund hard circled, committed by limited partners. Okay. So if for any reason you're not ready to have a fund in, late Q1 or early Q2 of next year, cohort 13 may not be the program for you, and you might want to come back in a future date, because that's what you're going to need to have in order to continue in the program. There are checkpoints in the program. We will check your progress. We will help you, and you will get commitments to your firm. So I want to talk about the commitments for a minute. So in cohort 12, we made an important change. We said from day one, you have to start getting PACs. PACs are a commitment letter, non-binding, from a limited partner to invest in your firm. So for many of you, before New Year's, you will start getting signed commitments from limited partners. These are people most likely that that you're going to ask to invest in your firm and fund. Okay. And so we're going to put your feet to the fire, and it worked fantastic in cohort 12. We used to wait, but there's no point in waiting, right? You're here to raise a fund. We're going to help you raise a fund. We're going to start getting commitments right away. Okay. So that's a change that we've implemented cohort 12. It worked fantastically. Now, what that means is that some people are not able to get commitments, and they're going to have to leave the program, and that's okay. If you can't get commitments, you're not ready to start a fund or a firm. All right. It's that simple. So it's kind of black and white. You get commitments, you're ready. You can't get commitments, you're not ready. So we're going to give you all the tools, explain how to do it, make it easy as possible. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to get those commitments. Couple other quick things. We'll be covering like all the tools and stuff that you're going to get. They're pretty awesome, but just on a high level for everybody here, we have an accelerator program that you'll be in. That takes roughly 20 hours to 30 hours a week in the beginning. And then as you move to closing in the 4th month, it's going to take as much time as it takes to close, which could be 40, 60 hours a week. So a lot of people can start the program with a day job, but they can't keep the program in the program and keep the day job to the end, because you're going to start closing at the end, right? So just as an FYI, the program has a mentoring session every week with a top manager giving you really practical advice, as well as an AMA where you get to discuss things, and they're done at a time zone that accommodates most people. They're all recorded so you can watch them offline. In addition to that, you're going to be in working groups with your peers. So you're going to meet peers all around the world like you're going to do right now. You're going to have a Slack channel. That's a workspace that's amazing. You can discuss and collaborate on everything that you do. And you're going to have access to the #1 tool to run a venture capital firm called Decile Hub. And maybe you could put the link into Decile Hub. Decile Hub is amazing. It has all the CRM. It's got all the digital sign. You don't need anything. You don't need Affinity. You don't need DocuSign. You don't need DocSend. None of that. It's all built in. It's all free. This will save you tens of thousands of dollars a year. Okay? Free. But it's only available to people in the program. Now, just to give you a sense of how cool it is, we built an LLM in it that will answer any question on venture capital instantly. And I haven't yet to see it get things wrong. If it doesn't know the answer, we'll say, I don't know the answer. Mike, if you could post the link to Decibel Base so everyone can check it out. So we just to give you a sense of, again, giving stuff away for free. Obviously, Decibel Hub is free, but you can't sign up for it unless you're in the program. Decibel Base, which is part of Decibel Hub, we made free. It will change your life when it comes to venture. You don't need to write a lawyer. You don't need to write a specialist. You don't need to write a blank. You can ask the question and get the answer instantly, saving you, thousands of dollars in professional service fees that you would have to spend otherwise to get those answers alternatively. There's a lot more going on. A lot of exciting stuff. Anything I missed, Mike, or let's jump to tables.
Do you want to maybe just talk to them about vendors really quick, especially the aggressive ones with sales and stuff?
Yeah. So let's talk about this for one sec. A lot of you are like, I'm starting a fund. So first and foremost, don't say anything publicly. There's rules called general solicitation. Maybe, Mike, you could put that as well. No, you're not allowed to talk about your thesis, fundraising, anything like that publicly. Some of you are going to be like, oh, but I see people all the time talking about this stuff publicly. They're either, in most cases, guys, they're breaking the law. All right. So just because someone else is breaking the law doesn't mean you should break the law. Right. So you can't talk about your fundraising publicly. Okay, that's called general solicitation. It is strictly forbidden. Don't do that. In addition to that, I can tell you from firsthand experience, pretty much all of the vendors working in venture capital are bad actors, right? How do I know this? I work with them. We see how they treat people. We see their terms. Lawyers charging $1,700 an hour, and you think that they're a good actor, and they make multi-100-page agreements that nobody can read except them. So it's like every time you have a question or you want to try and understand something, you can't actually read the agreement. You have to call your $1,700 an hour lawyer because they made it so obtuse no one can read it, and you think that's a good actor? Well, they're not. All right. So if you are talking with someone about forming a fund, if like Carta or a law firm or whatever, stop now. That's the last thing you do, not the first thing you do. Okay. So you get your thesis good, you get your commitments, you get everything set up. And the very last thing you do is talk to people like that. If you've signed with some of them, you should let us know. We might not want you in the program. Some of these vendors are so bad that it's just easier to be like, hey, we can't help you than try and fix the brain damage of what they've tried to do, right? So they make mistakes, they overcharge. So just do me a favor to help you. Do not sign anything right now, especially. If you have, let us know and we'll take a look, and you can let us know by just replying to anything, and we'll let you know what your options are. But again, most of these players that I've seen are bad actors. They do not have your best interest in heart, and they're going to actually end up, raking you over the coals, overcharging you, making mistakes, and it won't be good. So with that said, anything else, Mike, or should we jump over to the tables? Happy to talk about how the tables.
Yeah, so as soon as Adele and I get off the screen here, what you're going to see is a set of tables, right? They're going to have different topics and things like that. So I encourage everybody to sort of take a seat at one of the tables, participate in the conversation, and then you can move on from table to table to table. I'm going to be available to answer questions about the VC Lab program and other things like that. So you can go ahead and jump in as well. Adele will be as well. But meet each other, right? This is the whole point. Venture capital is a network business. We're trying to facilitate as much opportunity for everybody here to sort of build your network, because that's how you're going to be successful in this trade, right? So use this opportunity to try to meet as many peers as possible. And we're super excited to meet you on the other side.
Yeah,
So,
I'm so honored to try and help you launch a firm. It's our honor, right? You're going to go do something that's really hard, and we're here to help, right? And we don't want anything in return but to see you be successful. Okay? See you in a moment at the tables, everyone, and enjoy.
bye, everyone.